Entrepreneurship and small business management, equity financing. The objectives of this presentation are to evaluate equity options in the form of IPOs, otherwise known as initial public offerings, business angels, and venture capitalists. Slide entitled Equity Options. So the options for raising equity finance, first of all, from your own personal funds. There is a concept also called sweat equity, which is expending personal time and effort on the business, because that in fact has a value, your personal time and effort. So I suppose it's a legitimate form of personal equity finance. We also have external equity financing. This is financing coming from external parties, such as stockholders through an IPO, angel investors, or venture capitalists. And we'll be talking about the difference between angel investors and venture capitalists a little later in the presentation. Also, as an option, we have friends and family. It's very important, if you opt to use friends and family, that you use a business relationship with them, and that you suspend any emotional ties as best as you can with friends and family. It's advised that you use contracts in case the idea or the proposal doesn't work. And it's very important in the case of friends and family that you don't overpromise and undersell. Here's some other forms of equity financing. We've got bootstrapping. This is very creative financing. It might be that in order to purchase the required equipment, that you co-opt with another business owner or another entrepreneur, and in order to purchase the equipment that you need. Something else you might do is buy used rather than new. Obviously, second-hand value cheaper than a brand new piece of equipment. You might try to lease equipment rather than buy it. If you do that, though, make sure that the lease is for a short period of time, because if the business goes under quickly, then you're going to be left with lease payments that still need to be made. It's also important that in the early stages of your business, you cut down on your personal expenses. This might be social expenses, or it could be that you cut down on any business expenses by allowing your personal expenses to contribute. Now, personal expense is not just money, but it might be that that you use a room in your home as an office for your business. Here's a question for you. Which of the following equity options mean the investment of personal time and effort? First, bootstrapping. Second, friends and family. Third, sweat equity. Fourth, equity financing. Or fifth, none of the above. So, focusing on a couple of equity options mentioned previously, we have venture capitalists. Now, venture capitalists are normally firms that are managed by general partners that use limited partners to invest in businesses that they think might be a good bet for success. And they usually come along after an angel investor has maybe helped get the thing or get the business running. And venture capitalists are usually very well networked in the business world. If you are looking to choose a venture capitalist, some questions you might want to ask: are they an expert in the particular industry that you want to go into? And do they have adequate financial resources to invest in you? Also, are they compatible with you? Do you get along with them? Are they too aggressive or active, or are they too passive? Here's a question for you. Which of the following is not a consideration in choosing a venture capitalist? I repeat, which of the following is not a consideration in choosing a venture capitalist? First, expert in the industry. Secondly, adequate financial resources. Third, compatibility with your business. Fourth, too active or passive. Or last, the period of the loan repayment. Looking at business angels now as an equity option in more detail. So these tend to be individuals rather than the companies that are venture capitalists. They tend to be well-educated individuals, probably a successful entrepreneur that's made some money, though, so they are wealthy, usually operate at the local level. They are usually a smaller investor compared with the venture capital firms, and they will quite often offer guidance to you as the entrepreneur, and they can be receptive of university students. Here's a question for you. Business angels are usually, first, individuals rather than companies. Second, educated. Third, successful entrepreneurs. Fourth, wealthy. Or fifth, all of the above. Here's another equity option in more detail. An initial public offering, or an IPO. This is when the business offers stock for sale for the first time to the public. Now, this is as opposed to a private placement to an institutional investor rather than to general members of the public. So this is also called floating the company on a stock exchange. Once you do this, providing that you do not use up or you don't sell all of the authorized share capital to the public, you do have further options for future finance by a secondary market offering. One of the advantages of an IPO is that you do get publicity from the business world, and it does give your business a sense of legitimacy. It's also a liquidity event for the owners of the business and people who have invested in the business up to the present moment in time. In other words, they're able to recoup some cash from the initial public offering. It's strongly recommended that in managing an IPO, you use an investment bank to navigate the legalities. Such legalities as the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, which came about largely as a result of the Enron debacle. So the Sarbanes-Oxley Act makes sure that there's no conflict of interests in the Act of Securities. And the investment bank will also advise you on the cost and the amount of capital you're going to need, and at what price you should sell stock at, and which stock types: common stock, preference stock, preferred stock. These are all different types of stock. They will advise you on this. They'll also help issue a preliminary prospectus to the SEC, otherwise known as the Government Securities and Exchange Commission, and then will help issue a final prospectus. This is because much can happen between the issue of a preliminary and a final prospectus, and it's very important that investors know, or potential investors know, of any changes in the financial condition of the company up for flotation. The investment bank will also negotiate a roadshow for the management team of the business to try to attract potential stockholders. Here's a question for you. An IPO is first an initial public offering, second an initial private offering, third an investment public offering, fourth an investment private offering, or fifth none of the above. Another question. Which of the following is not a source of equity funding? First, an IPO. Second, venture capitalist. Third, business angel. Fourth, loans from friends and family. Or fifth, all of the above are sources of equity funding. Here's a useful website for grants from the state of Oregon. You go to page 11 of the link, and I'll let you do that at your own leisure. Thanks for listening and watching our presentation. I hope to have you along to a future presentation. Thank you.